Let's see how this goes. Basically, what we're going to be doing is live coding a Node app with a bunch of ES6 stuff. It's just a side project for me. I do the Node archive bundling spec, and we just want to make updating bundles easier. So if you have a binary, you want an easy way to check for updates and then run an update. And this is one module we need to make for that. So that's what I'll be coding. It's github.com, bmec Noda updater. I really wish I could see better what is being presented, but I'll just assume everybody can see just fine. So we've just set up a Vagrant box. We've got node 1036 on it. I'm just going to HTTPS clone this. Oh. Yeah. I set up a Vagrant box because I don't want any weird stuff going on. So my box is kind of a special snowflake. So let's clone it down. Shouldn't take too long. And go. First thing I want to do is set up npm init version 1, entry point, index.js, test command. We're not going to have one yet. We're going to do other stuff. ISC license, which is the license file we currently have. So let me think. There's some general modules that I want when I'm going to be developing ES6. One is Babel, one is called source map support. Well, let's do these separate. So Babel is the old 6.5 compiler that's been rebranded. We want to save that as a dev dependency because that's what we're going to do. Use. Internet's being slow. Can people talk to me on a Hangouts on air? I'm not sure. Not sure. So we're going to make two directories. One is lib, which is going to have our ES6 code. One is out, which is where we're going to generate the code for Node to run. So it'll be ES5 code. And so what happened when we installed Babel is we got a bin Babel. And it's got a ton of options. And one we actually care about is going to be outdir. So if you give it a directory, and it will also be able to take and generate the same thing to an output directory. We just want to have that work out. So let's edit the package JSON file. What we want to do is pre-test. We're actually going to go in npm run pre-publish. Because we want to be sure whatever we're about to publish is the same as what we tested with. So whenever I push this up to the npm registry, it will run these scripts. So we want Babel, we want source maps, we want dir of out, and we want to compile lib. For my sanity, pre-publish. Yeah, we're going. We got stuff. So we're going to edit just an index.js inside of the ES6 folder for now. We actually go and make this big. Yosemite has funky full screen. I'm afraid of it. So this one's actually going to be our main entrance. I want to get Babel's polyfill because some ES6 features require runtimes to work. Like generators, which we're going to make heavy use of generators. And that, we just want to apply. Whatever the output directory is. So some people really don't like putting source map support in directly. I think source map support off npm is actually really nice. But generally you don't want to put this in your libraries. I'm doing it when I do development installation. So you can go, you can read on it. I totally misspelled it. So let's install the right one. Cool. So just to check it works, we're going to have we're going to run pre-publish again. And it generates the output. So I can actually close that index file that's in the root. And if we ls on the output directory, there should be a map file as well. Yeah, it's in there. Which is kind of nice. We care about that a little. So let's get down to coding. I'm going to open up the README side by side. You can see kind of, we've written out the steps we need to do for this. I tend to write out steps a lot. Generally, I would code this a little different, but this is just starting from scratch. You can use boilerplates if you've got them lying around for projects. We are going to use something that's kind of neat. This is totally not for performance. This is for let's say doing things correctly. So basically that's a generator runner, which you can think of as something that can manage a generator to make asynchronous actions pretty easy. You'll also see I'm using const, which is just because I never want those variables to change. So we want our runner, we want something that's easier to use than HTTP directly in Node. So we're going to use HyperQuest Substack. We want a concat stream. We're just going to have stuff piping everywhere. We're going to want to have access to the file system. Because basically what this is going to do is it's going to take a place on the web that's holding distributions, and it is going to check that it's signed properly, and in order to do that, we need to write some stuff to disk, because what we're coding against is the IOJS distribution server right now, and that uses GPG. It's a little bit painful to use from file descriptors, as in it doesn't even work. We have to write the stuff to disk. That looks like a lot. So what are we going to do? We're not going to turn this into a real module right now. We're actually going to let it ride and do executions until we get a little bit further on. So basically we get our task runner, and it's going to say whenever we yield stuff, manage it in a way that abstracts all the asynchronous logic. And there's documentation on what exactly it's doing. I'm just going to save all the stuff we mentioned at the top, all these modules we're using. Download them, save them with npm install --save, which is the best. So we got all three of those. That's good. So now things are gonna start to look really freaking weird. But that's kind of good, kind of terrible at the same time. So we're trying to get the body of this file, the index.json. So we're using IOJS right now, but inside of /dist on iojs.org, they have a file, index.json, which is nice. It shows us a bunch of stuff, which is good. And we just kind of want to grab that for now. And so let's say I'm going to do some hard coding until we get further I tend to make things run and then to make them modules. I don't know how other people do it, but sure. Quest URL pipe. Okay, so we want the results of whatever the concatenation is to be turned into a body, and that is totally not something you can do normally. Checking the syntax because live coding has me really paranoid. Yeah, that's when it's done. So you'll see me use these a lot, these underscores as placeholders. So what do we get? We get body from concat, and we actually want to pipe that to a callback. Oh, let me just rewrite this slower. Let me just go step by step so people can actually see. So we're gonna need to run pre-publish whenever things change. I don't use file watchers, they kind of weird me out, but that's just a personal preference. So I'll just oh yeah, the runner we're using. Let's just make it print out result value. Oh, I forgot a fat arrow. Request gets this, pipes it to process standard out. That looks right. So I bet there's an error coming on all this piping business. The pipes are funky. Oh, that's interesting. Doesn't get either error. Hype request is required. Hype request. Change it to HTTP for a moment and see what happens. Oh, was it network latency? Oh, freak. Oh, we're gonna need those in a bit anyway. But is that just network latency? 1, 2. Oh, it was. Live coding. Live coding. Lots of fun. Sweet. Do, do, do. So as we were doing earlier, we get a stream of URL, and then we want the stream actually to concatenate that content all together. So this is totally using both ES6 generators and the generator runner, task runner we're using. So right here, the main problem for people is they can't associate a, what do you want to call it? A callback time-wise with the return value of an expression. So what we want to do actually is a little bit funky. We're going to say we want an asynchronous action. And the way you do that with runners is you say you want to yield a promise or a function, one of the two generally. So what is going on there? Let's just do it by hand. But the runner will actually go and say, whenever you yield me that function or promise, I will execute it and give it a means to continue the task that it was running. So here we get a function with the fat arrow. I don't like typing. And I use underscore because I really like the reference to Prolog, honestly. And that's our continuation callback. This is not ES6, this is a library. So basically what's going to happen here is only one of these two things can complete. Either concat can finish, and it will call the callback with a body value, or it'll get an error and we can call this continuation callback with an error value. You can think of this as a wait. Sure. That looks fine. And then whenever that callback finishes being called, the runner will actually return the value you pass to it or throw an error at that point. So it's a little bit crazy. Let's see, what do we want to call this? We want to call this body. You'll notice I am actually not putting a try catch around this. That's, once again, you're inside a managed function. If you throw in it, it'll pick it up and pass it to the end callback down at the bottom. So we can actually treat our asynchronous errors and synchronous errors the same. So we're already logging at the end. Let's go and start doing other stuff. So just logging the value. not terribly useful if we can't see visually kind of value it was, if it was an error, if it was a return. Network latency, clear the screen. Hey, it returned something really weird. Oh, that's because it's an array of objects and it's trying to stringify it. But it's working. That's a good thing. So once again, we're gonna have some fun. And now things are gonna pick up speed. So I've explained a lot. So I'm going quiet unless somebody speaks. Is anybody even viewing? A couple are. So let's see. Oh, that's terrible. So we've got our JSON. It's sorted by version, but those versions are not quite SimVer. It's got this V in front of it, but it does have a date. Let's pull in SimVer off npm. And then we're gonna, I guess, drop the V at the front and just do a SimVer compare. Let's see. Actually, start naming things. So best version. What we want over here. So let's just do a for loop. We can do better. Or so there's for of in ES6, which is really nice. It's really slow performance-wise, almost unbearably slow when you use a transpiler, but this is more get the stuff working, then make it fast later. Yeah. Version array. Yeah. If version, so on a condition. So if version, I really need a better name for that. If the current checking version has a greater version than our current best version, we got to remove the V's. We could use pattern matching, but I think we'll be okay with just using a slice one. Let's put those in. Two variables for my sanity. equally terribly named best version str. So we actually need one more line down here. That looks okay. So I haven't gotten to the file system yet, but I hope we will. What did I do? Oh, I failed at a copy paste. I really failed at that copy paste. It's running again. Let's check if it gets, I think it's 151. Yay, it returned that, which is what we want. Cool. So we're starting to make progress. We got some stuff going on. What's the next thing to do? We got down to here. We need to get a version URL. Let's see. Totally kind of a hack, but we already know a lot. That's how it works. We click. Yeah. Save that version URL. Okay. Oh, this is where we're actually going to have to start saving stuff to disk. Sure, sounds fine to me. So we need, there we go, SHASM 256 GPG. That's the key it was being signed with. So the version URL was all that jazz. But we're going to want to save that to disk actually. Yeah. Where do we want to save it to disk? We want a temporary folder. Let's go require temp, which I think many people have seen. Okay. We got that. We got FS. All right. Goal is to write the key body to key file. we're going to use that same deal where we can yield a function to abstract out all the error handling and value propagation from asynchronous to synchronous. But it's explicit. It's good. It makes me able to tolerate it. Check syntax. Created error path. Cleanup callback. I don't think we need a directory, but we might, yeah. I like a directory. Let's see. So key file, path.join. So you'll notice I was using template strings earlier, but I've swapped to path.join. It's because this is not quite the same. The template strings were just because we were talking about HTTP, which has a consistent separator. Unfortunately, file systems do not, even if under the hood they technically converted to the same thing. Well, let's go and grab that. Same kind of deal as above. We're actually going to copy paste because me being me, I don't really like to write things over and over again. So what was the string? Oh, we totally don't need that assignment up there. Totally didn't process that. Okay, so that's fixed. It'll grab the key, it'll put it in the key file, and that looks okay to me. So the directory is temporary, and it should be nuked on the end of life. I just want to check. Oh, it's got this. I guess it wasn't removed on end of life. I think that's an option. Yeah, it's an option. I'm just gonna say we want unsaved cleanup. That should fix that. Hey, it actually cleans up now. We're good. Double checking for the win. I wonder though. That old one? So, let's see. See what it looks like. Looks like it's empty. Oh, why is it empty though? Let's see what this responds with. Times an empty array. That's a. Oh, I'm grabbing the wrong URL. Go. So, do, 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 do. Oh my goodness, child process. By default, we're gonna actually go import this thing into a keyring that we're gonna put in the temporary directory, which is nightmares and ugh, it's terrible. Where's that temp there? I guess local keyring. I've apparently been here a lot. Here we are. Hey, not local, it's primary. And we're really only concerned with did it fail? So we just yield and have the error propagate. We're gonna finish. Oh, I know what it's doing. I didn't tell it what to import. Fudge. key file, that's what it is. Import key file to. It was waiting for me to give it a message to do. Hey, can't open. It doesn't make sense. Oh. Ordered command line switches make me unhappy. Okay. Now we're getting places. No valid PGP data. Was key body empty? Still trying to get in the habit of using template strings when consoling out, but I'll get in that habit eventually. Key body is still empty. Is that empty? Let's go there in a web browser. Not found. Oh, it has index.json on the end. Looks better. Guessing. Yeah, it should be there. Oh, errors. Nothing. Did I forget to write the file? Maybe? The console, that's getting too much. Still no. Sanity is coming into question. Oh, freaking typos. Takes a bit, but now it works again. Yay! We have what looks like synchronous stuff going on, but it's really way too complex and brain-hurtingly asynchronous. So there is key.pgp, but there's also a sister file that has all the signatures, which we're gonna call sig. We don't actually need to save that one to disk. We can just pipe that through GPG. Words. And kind of a shout out to Rod Vag for actually doing this proper. So there's the clear text signature URL, and there's the encrypted signature URL. Clear text one we need to download. Should totally make this into a function, but I'm kind of I've got like 5 minutes left doing this. Key. Also, totally, after doing this or something, as long as it's, I'm at line 70 something, totally break this up. You can break this up pretty easily. Maybe I'll do it a different day, but it doesn't need to be this long. We got that. No. Oh, that is totally not what I wanted. I want some API docs for Node. I always mess up how to pipe using exec. Exec options. Here we are. Shell. I guess we're going with spawn instead. Freak. It's not terrible, it's just a little bit annoying to use. That's actually going to give us a child process. It has a slightly different semantic about how we want to wait on it. I guess that's the last thing we'll be doing. So it's going to generate a child process. I'm actually going to say the child exits. I want to continue depending. So if it exits with an exit code, this is if logic. We need another line. So we'll just continue until the child exits. Well, I don't have time to really do much more. We just want to check that the encrypted signature URL can be decrypted with that key. And so we're going to actually pipe stuff around. We don't actually want to grab the body of the encrypted signature stream directly, because we want to generate it from the key. So that's standard in the pipe. Oh, I did that backwards. If this works or not, I think my time is up. But I think I'll do a bunch of these, just kind of me coding my side projects, even if it doesn't work out very well. Feel free to leave me comments and things on Twitter. I probably won't check the Google Hangout, really. Hey, it decrypted fine. That's good. So, but we downloaded some stuff with HTTP. We made a GPG ring and started using it. The big thing to note is we didn't really spend time writing error handling code. And the reason for that is usually you would write if else on whether a callback has an error or not. You don't actually need to do that when you use generators in ES6. So whenever the generator resumes, it can throw immediately there. So you can use all the normal language constructs. And likewise, anything that can consume a generator, such as these task runners, is able to propagate those errors to whatever your final destination is. In our case, it was just this callback at the end. So any synchronous or asynchronous error is being propagated there, and I just don't have to worry about it at all. It's a little bit different than domains. If you want a long, lengthy talk about it, hit me up sometime. Okay, well, I gotta head out, so I'll see you later. Bye, everybody.